Hey everyone, welcome to the Saturday Night Live. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a great week so far. We are obviously on Saturday, and it is spring, finally, thank God. Now, I do have a lot of stuff I want to cover tonight. A lot of it really doesn't have to deal with Connecticut per se, but it is at least a preview of what is more than likely coming our way. So, just gotta crack my drink open. And we're rocking some weird drink called Update. I don't know, it's an energy drink. Found them at Walmart. It's all they had. No C4s, no Alani, so we got this. And Mrs. Guru doesn't like them, so I'm drinking them. They're not bad. They'll suffice. No alcohol tonight, which is sad. But got a lot to do, a lot to discuss, and don't want to be drinking all that much. All right, so sound off, guys, in the chat. Let me know. Make sure everything's working good for you guys on your end. From my end, everything looks to be good to go. So get in super chats. Those help the channel and all that good stuff. Let's jump into it. I just need to switch over to the capture. Here we go. Of course, we'll start with the merch store. Go get yourself some of that awesome, sweet merch. Help support the channel. You got your Connecticut t-shirt there. It shows the Connecticut flag upside down, which Connecticut's in distress. Of course, we got the Navy way because it's never gay underway. It's only queer to peer. The Guns and Coffee shirt, which, well, we haven't done anything with yet. And then we got the Freedom Through Violence. Now, I know on the front, it says Freedom Through Violence since 1776. And on the back is the large retro Gun Guru logo. Let me know if you guys want that front logo, the Freedom Through Violence one, bigger, like on the back and all that good stuff. And then we got the FAFO with a custom little graphic in the front. Everyone's favorite Guns and Ammo. Your 5.56. Dead inside, but caffeinated. I think I'm going to have to get me one of those. And we got the Houthi. I'm going to swap this up. I know it says Houthi Hunting Club. I think we might have to change it up to Iranian Hunting Club. 2026. Disabled but deadly. I do have one of those. All right. Also, listen, I know you guys are watching this, and you're probably already subscribed to the channel, hence why you saw this. But I want to make sure you guys know the video right here is the newest two-way roundtable featuring myself, Josh from Lock and Load Podcast, and Derek from the Connecticut Gun Bench. So make sure you guys get in there and watch it. Yeah, we ran a little long. We tried to keep it about an hour, but we went about an hour and a half. And before I forget, yes, Michelle from Patriot Wear Holsters is in there. And before it launched, the video, when we were recording it, Michelle and I were talking. And we're gonna see if we can get one of their holsters and try it out for a little while. And we'll give you guys a decent, solid review on Patriot Wear Holsters. And of course, you guys know we have a website. If you need to get a hold of me, right here's the link. If you're interested in private lessons, they are $160 an hour, but that encompasses everything. That's ammo, the guns, the range time, Iron Ear Pro, everything you need, from beginners all the way up to more advanced drills, things like that. If you guys tend to shoot off to the left or you keep shooting low, we can work on that. We can fix some bad habits. And of course, we've got all the channels where you can find this channel. God forbid the YouTube one ever just disappeared. Yeah, Rumble, BitChute, Grey Hive, which is more of an obscure Pro 2A media channel thing. It's like YouTube, but for gun tubers. Odyssey, and of course, a link to another merch store. And if you guys need a pistol permit class or know someone that does, by all means, follow that link over to Lock and Load. Sign up for a class, whether it's Connecticut or the multi-state. And more than likely, I will be your instructor, if not at least one of your instructors. So get on to it. All right. Wanted to get into this. In case you guys didn't hear, the state of Illinois has gone insane. Now, we know that Illinois has got some of the strictest gun laws in our country. They make Connecticut look like it's a pro 2A state. And of course, all these gun laws do nothing for Chicago. I mean, literally, I call it Chirac. It's an absolute bastion of violence. Every weekend, hundreds of people are getting shot. So what is Illinois' brilliant idea? Well, we have to take a look at HB4414. Some of you already sent this to me and tried to bring it to my attention. And I said, yep, I know. And we'll be discussing it in our live. So, here we go. This amends the Criminal Code of 2012. It provides that the beginning, January 1st of 2027, so the beginning of next year, all handgun ammunition that is manufactured, imported, into the state for sale, for personal use, kept for sale, offered, or exposed for sale, sold, given, lent, I don't know how you lend ammo, once it's gone, or possessed, shall be serialized. It says it right there. Shall be serialized. Provided beginning January 1st, 2027, any person who manufactures, causes to manufacture, imports, blah, blah, blah. The Illinois State Police shall maintain a centralized registry of all reports of handgun ammunition transactions reported to the Illinois State Police in a manner prescribed by the Illinois State Police. Handgun ammunition. I'm a little confused by that because Ruger PC carbine is chambered in 9mm Luger, among few others, but that's a rifle. That is not technically handgun ammunition. I wonder if they're talking about like handgun calibers. Not sure. I think their wording is really jacked up. And anybody, this is important, any handgun ammunition that is not serialized is going to be guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. Now, this is an image. If you don't believe me, here's the actual bill from IllinoisGA.gov. So ILGA.gov. The synopsis, which is introduced, and right now it's sitting in Judiciary Committee. Amends Criminal Code 2012, which I already read to you guys. So on, so it's right here. It is put forth by Rep. Anastava. This is dystopian. I don't even know how they would do something like this. How would you differentiate what ammo goes to Illinois versus every other damn state in our great country? I don't even know how they would do this. Maybe you guys know. Maybe I'm missing something. But where would they serialize it? On the back? On the side? I would hazard a guess that if you tried to laser engrave serial numbers on the side, it might degrade the integrity of the brass. It doesn't specify, as far as I can tell, whether each individual cartridge needs to be serialized with its own unique identifier, or if you could have like all the cartridges in this box of 9mm Luger are serial number 123. I would assume each individual round will have to have a very specific serial number. I don't know. I think this is unmanageable. I think this is idiocracy at its best. I don't think this can actually happen. And I don't think they care. I think they'll push it through regardless. Now, we know already, because of the public hearing we had last week, that most of these bills are written by non-politicians, or they're written by these anti-gun lobbying groups. They so much as admitted it during the public hearing. They said when Everytown was up there in the first hour and a half, I can't remember if it was Fishbein or Dubitsky or one of them, they called out that chick from Everytown and said, "You guys wrote this." And they said, "Yes, we did." And they asked, "Well, what'd you do with it after that?" And they're like, "Well, we sent it off to your governor." And then we all know Lamont submitted it to the General Assembly for the Judiciary Committee to be reviewed. As far as I know, it has not moved. It's still sitting there. I have not gotten any alerts on it at all. So I don't think it's moved. Largely, though, I'm pretty sure the politicians that sat there and listened, and I hope read all the opposition testimony, probably going to ignore it and push it through regardless. That's just the way it is. Now, how do I know this? They have already done it with the vaccination mandate. There were thousands upon thousands upon thousands of those that opposed it. And the health committee ignored them all and just pushed it on. Just passed it. And now it's on its way through the system. So we'll keep an eye on that one. That one I think is pretty dystopian. But I was talking to some people yesterday who like to homeschool. And they're leaving because Connecticut's going after those that homeschool. They're going to get DFCS involved. They're like, "Yep, no, we're not even going to risk it. We don't even want to see if it passes or not. We're selling the house and we're moving down south." And I can't blame them. So I was like, Godspeed, have fun, good luck, so on and so forth. So I think with these laws passing, we're going to see a mass exodus, at least for our bills. This one, though, coming out of Illinois, honestly, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think it's pie in the sky. But if they do pass it for some reason, you better believe that Lamont, Tong, or any of our politicians here that hate us and guns will probably try to do something like this. I don't know. I mean, California makes some jacked up laws and we follow suit. Illinois has done a few jacked up laws and we've followed suit too. And we tend to lead the way in some ways and in other ways we follow. So, speaking of ammunition, I saw this. I posted it on Facebook. I thought it was funny, but some in the comment section were quite hilarious. Anyways, what it is it's off on the right column. It says a UPS driver reports suspicious behavior after a large ammunition delivery in Willimantic. This happened at Eastbrook Mall, Mansfield, Foster Drive in Willimantic. And this was on the 18th at 6 p.m. A UPS driver requested to meet with police at an Applebee's at Eastbrook Mall regarding a suspicious incident. The driver reported delivering approximately 3,000 rounds of ammunition to a location on Foster Drive in Willimantic. I can't believe they actually printed this. The individual receiving the delivery was described as acting unusual and displaying concerning behaviors. Additional details: a report was made by the delivery driver following the drop-off. No confirmed threats or criminal activity have been reported at this time. Now, I really wish they explained what is that suspicious activity. What was so concerning? Maybe UPS, the guy just didn't like the fact that he dropped off 3,000 rounds, which, not in my comment section on Facebook, but on the actual CT Police Live one, there were people in there saying, "Who would buy this kind of ammunition?" I'm like, this is normal. This is a normal purchase. This, to me, this would be a really fun weekend. 3,000 rounds, that's a good weekend. 3,000 rounds is not a lot of ammunition. And what a lot of people don't realize is, yes, Connecticut is very restrictive when it comes to laws, our gun laws. But we still can bulk order ammunition online and have it shipped to our home. Not all of these bulk sellers will ship to Connecticut because they don't want to deal with the headache. But a few of them still do. I've done this before. I needed bulk ammo for a class. I ordered a bunch of it online and it was shipped right to my home. Now, in order to order it, you have to upload your permit. You have to upload your driver's license, fill out a form, and when you make a purchase, they will literally make sure you are legitimate, make sure all your paperwork is in order, and they will ship it to you. Now, if you don't want this kind of ammunition coming to your home, you know, porch pirates and all, I've seen instances where people bulk order on these websites and then ship it to their local FFL. You just call your FFL and like, hey man, I just ordered a bunch of stuff, it's coming in. This way you don't have it delivered to your house. And I wanted to bring up that, speaking of bulk ammo, I wanted to bring this up. Ammunition prices are spiking. Just so you know. When I was at class today, I told them over at Lock and Load, I was like, hey, by the way, I am probably going to need to order a case of 9. So if you can order me one for next week, I'd greatly appreciate it. And they laughed. Josh laughed at me. He's like, yeah, good luck with that one. I said, I just need Blazer. He's like, it's getting hard to get. In fact, it's getting expensive. So the last time I bought a case of ammunition, which is just a few months ago, I paid, we'll say $220. It's not a bad price for 1,000 rounds of 9mm. Now, today, I think it costs the FFL on their end over $300 for the same case. That does not include any markup that you and I would have to pay because it is a business and they have to make money. That is not a retail price. Over the $300, that's wholesale price. Ammo's getting expensive. And I found this. It's from The Trace. This is the business of guns. Trump's tariffs are driving up ammunition prices. I don't know if it's the tariffs, guys. I really don't. I think they're just trying to blame somebody. Personally, I think it is the military is gobbling it up, mainly because of, well, what we supply to Ukraine, what's going on at Iran. Of course, we have to supply Israel, I'm sure. But it says, levies imposed by the self-described pro-gun president are squeezing the ammunition industry and gun owners' wallets. This is just from a couple of days ago. It says, firearms business has historically pitched and rolled with challenging political headwinds. Lawmakers have learned to prepare for the volatility and produce extra firearms to account for surges in demand when gun owners anticipate a passage of new restrictions, but not so much to settle themselves with glut for those fears subside. So listen, I'm not one to tell people to panic buy, but you should buy ammo now. You should pick up your Glocks now because we're almost done with March, heading into April, and if that bill passes here in Connecticut, immediately all the Glocks and every other firearm, Ruger, RXMs, all of them are going to fly off the shelves and you're not going to be able to get anything. So if you're in the market and you got the cheddar, you might want to go buy them now just in case. Just saying. If it doesn't pass, hey, you got yourself some new guns. Good for you. And if it does pass, well, you beat everybody to the punchline and you got yours while everybody else is scrambling. So shop accordingly, guys. Pick up what you need now. A new wave of turbulence has arrived. President Donald Trump has billed himself as the most pro-gun president ever, But his steep tariffs on metals and chemicals used to make ammunition have ratcheted up the production costs, forced layoffs, and nudged retail prices upward. Retailers fear the U.S. Israeli war in Iran could send ammo prices even higher if oil and shipping become more expensive. Well, we see the ammo prices going up, and ammo starting to get a little harder to find here and there. So, according to data compiled by the retailer Ammunition Depot, I've used them before, the average daily price of one round of 9mm full jacket ammunition, the most widely used caliber on the market, FMJ is also your garbage training ammo for the range, has ticked up steadily since last fall. In January, it twice topped 35 cents, the highest level since 2023, and about 10 cents more than the average price during 2025. Customers regularly buy ammunition by the hundreds or thousands of rounds, so a 10-cent spike can add up quickly. Yeah, it's getting expensive, guys. So, I'd get what you can now. Get your 9mm, your 5.56, 308, whatever other calibers you have, because if ammunition gets super tight and you can't get it, you're going to be SOL. It's going to be like it was during COVID, where we had no ammunition anywhere on the shelves. We went years without seeing certain calibers, and you've got a hard choice to make. Go to the range and train so you're proficient and you have your craft up to speed. But then you're going to not have any ammo left over. Or you hoard it all, you don't go to the range at all, and then your craft dies. You suck at shooting, and if you suck, you suck. And that's really the last place you want to be, is sucking at shooting. Just saying. I know you're like, oh, I'll just buy a ton of 22 and that's what I'll train with. It's not the same, guys. Shooting 22s is not the same with the full recoil force of 9 or whatever other caliber you carry. But stock up now, because it doesn't look like it's getting any better. So, okay, let's see. The other thing was, I did see this. A bunch of other people jumped on this. I wanted to cover it for you guys. The DOJ legal filing renews concerns about ATF's posture on braced pistols. I thought this was over and done with. The ATF came out with a rule attacking braced ARs, right? Mainly affecting the other. They wanted to make them SBRs. Now, they did that tax-free thing, and many people converted their Connecticut others into SBRs. They filled out the paperwork, free tax stamp. They all got approved, or most of them, I should say, not all. And the ATF today said, yes, they still honor those. Hence, if you did this, you have SBRs. Treat them accordingly. The courts, however, crushed this brace rule. They said the ATF can't do this because they have no legal authority to just make up stuff. So instead, it just quietly went away into the dark. But now, they're saying this. Let me see if I can blow this up. The saga of the ATF's enforcement of the National Firearms Act short-barreled rifle provisions against braced pistols has been a roller coaster. Shifting interpretations, NRA LIA has been keeping up with reporting on advocating and reforming the entire time. It seemed to have reached a low point with the publication of the factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces during the Biden-Harris administration. So let's see. I don't want to hear about the NRA tooting their own horn. Last year, the ATF audaciously claimed in waning days of the Biden administration, all braced pistols were still subject to the NFA, and then quickly walked it back. Yeah. ATF says this now. This is what I wanted to get to. Although the rule is stayed and now vacated, the ATF is not barred from continuing to enforce the underlying statute as it always has, by making case-by-case determinations of whether particular braced firearms can constitute rifles under the statute. And of course, because the rule reflects ATF's best understanding of the statute, those determinations will naturally tend to look substantially like the determinations that would follow from applying a clear framework outlined in the rule. So basically, yeah, it's dead, it's been vacated, but we're still going to enforce it, case by case. Does that affect us here in Connecticut? No. I mean, your Connecticut if it's configured as it is what it is. It's a pistol braced firearm, technically. It really depends how they categorized it when they sold it to you, which we talked about in the 2A roundtable. They're all assault weapons in the eyes of Connecticut. Thus, you can do a lot of things to it because you really can't make it any more assaulty than it already is. The dilemma comes when your barrel length is under 16 inches. If you decide to take the brace off, put on a buttstock, drop that vertical grip, you have just generated an SBR in the eyes of the federal government. So if you don't have a tax stamp for it, you're committing a felony. You leave it as configured as it is, you're fine. If you were to put a different upper on it with a larger, longer barrel over 16 inches, then yeah, you throw the buttstock on the back, drop that vertical grip, and you have just an assault rifle, or you have an assault weapon in the eyes of Connecticut, and you have just an AR to the federal government. So it gets confusing, guys, but something's got to change with the ATF, because when a rule has been vacated and they've been told by the courts, you can't do this, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do it anyways, there's a problem. Now, I know this administration, Pam Bondi, the DOJ, have all touted that they're the most pro 2A administration ever. Yet, we have crap like this coming out of the ATF. We have Pam Bondi and the DOJ defending having whisper pickles, SBRs, SBSs, and short-barreled other things in the NFA still, even though the tax stamps are zero, and Congress has pretty much said, written it down in some letter, and said our intent was for these items to be removed in their entirety, since the NFA registration is the only way to track who paid for a tax stamp. That is it. The registry is kind of like a receipt telling the ATF you paid your stamp. You paid your 200 bones. Well, if there is no tax bill, it's zero, then there's no reason to have these items in the NFA registry. So they can piss off. But yeah, the most 2A administration is still acting very anti-2A. And nobody's paying attention, at least in the administration. The Pam Bondi and the Pam Bondi is just a crappy AG overall. She was never pro 2A, not even when she was in Florida. And whatever she's doing over at the DOJ is garbage. They're not doing what they're supposed to. They're still just like running their own ship, doing whatever the hell they want. Even when Congress has said, hey, you can't do this, they're like, yeah, whatever, they do it anyways. I don't think they're pro 2A. I think they're just anti-2A light. They're putting on the facade of being pro 2A, trying to placate those of us that are extremely pro 2A, hoping we'll just shut up and go quietly into the dark. But instead, we have groups like SAF and GOA and others that are looking at them and calling them out. Now, largely it's getting ignored, but at least they're getting called out and they're not being able to do this quietly behind the scenes, distracting us with other things. So that's what I think about that. You guys let me know what you think. And of course, I wanted to cover this because this is important. And then we're going to probably talk about this real quick. Next thing coming up. And then I want to jump over to chats and have a discussion and see what's going on there. So get down in the chat, guys. Do your little super chats and all that good stuff. Super thanks, whatever they are. Helps the channel. And let me know if you think what I'm about to talk about is probably coming our way. We just look to our little neighbor next door. Rhode Island. Tiny little state, big ideas. So Rhode Island Democrats are pushing a firearm safety training certificate requirement for gun purchases. Okay, that's not what I'm really peeved about. Rhode Island Democrat House members are pushing legislation to require Rhode Islanders to obtain a firearms safety training certificate prior to purchasing a gun. Basically, it's like what we do in Connecticut, right? You got to take a firearms class, NRA, USCCA, SAFE, or whatever groups out there teaching. You get your little safety certificate and you can go get your permit. Rhode Island is looking at making people have to go through this. At least in Connecticut, once you go through it, you get your permit. As long as your permit doesn't lapse, you're good to go. That's the only class you've ever had to take. Rhode Island, from what I read, makes it look like you have to do it every 5 years in order to continue purchasing firearms. Let's read. The legislation for H7755 is sponsored by State Rep Jennifer Boylan, Teresa Tanzi, Justine Caldwell, Robert Craven, Matthew Dawson, Earl Reed, and others. And they're all D's. The text of H7755 requires the would-be buyer of a handgun, that'd be you and me, to present to the person selling the firearm, FFL, a valid firearms safety training certificate issued by the Office of Attorney General. It's going to have to be state approved. The text further states, firearm safety training certificate shall certify that the purchaser has completed and passed an approved basic firearm safety training course within the previous 5 years. So after 5 years, do you have to redo it? I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, that is bad, but it's not as bad as this. Rhode Island Democrats are also pushing to remove the grandfather clause that was contained in the previously passed assault weapons ban. If they succeed, individuals who were allowed to keep their guns they had purchased before the ban will be forced to transfer them out of state or forfeit them. They're just retroactively yoinking your grandfather clause. Like, yo, we told you you could keep them. We changed our minds. Now, Connecticut, when they passed the first AR ban, we had a grandfather clause. And then it gave birth to the pistol grip firearm, more commonly known as the Connecticut Other. And they passed HB Satan 7. Inside HB Satan 7 was another grandfather clause. So we got to keep those. They were converted into assault weapons, which we all know this, guys. Well, I assume we all know this, but we still run into tons of people who have no idea. It still blows my mind. But that is a rant for a different time. We still have these guns. What is going to stop Connecticut? Rhode Island does is say it passes. You know damn well the Democrats here are going to see it. What is going to stop them from next legislative session for next year in 2027 to generate another one? Because you know damn well every town is going to be all about this. They're going to pass new legislation removing the grandfather clause and doing some bullshit like this to us. Now, again, don't freak out. I'm not saying they will, but I really could see them doing something like this. At this point, I really want to cut in, in the business, we call this foreshadowing. The fact that they would pass a law, tell everybody, hey, you can keep your stuff. If you already owned it, you're good. To come back later and be like, nah, we changed our minds. That's pretty shitty. Pardon my French, I think that's pretty fucked up. It's like they said, hey, you can keep it, and they just reneged. And they said, nah. I don't think I've ever seen this. I'm just curious if it passes. I'm going to have to log in to Rhode Island's General Assembly or whatever it is they have and actually track this bill. It is H7755. I want to see if it goes anywhere, see if they push it through. And this is coming from the 16th of March. So I'll take a look and see if there's been any movement on it. Who knows? It's pretty brutal if you ask me, though. Let me know what you guys think. All right. That's enough of them goofy little articles. I'm going to jump over to your chats. It's a little early, but I always feel like I get rushed in the end. So get in your chats. I'm going to start scrubbing through and see what's going on. And we'll go from there. And I think next week or the week after, we'll probably give away those cleaning kits. We did a flurry of giveaways, and we kind of held off for a little while. Kind of wanted to build up some stuff. We got those cleaning kits, so maybe we'll give those away. I have plenty of cool stuff. I'm like, oh, we can do this, we can do that. I was thinking maybe reaching out to Core, the maker of fine gun belts like this, and the ones I wear every day. Reaching out to Core and seeing maybe if I could get one of their belts for a giveaway. Because I have a really good rapport with them. I've used Core belts. I've bought them before they did the whole YouTube thing with me, partnered up with me. Got a really good contact there, and I'll reach out and maybe let me know if you guys want me to give away a Core belt. And if you do, like, what kind? Do you want the camouflage kind? Do you want solid colors? Do you want the ones that are leather that look like they belong with a suit? Good everyday carry belts? Or are you just not interested? Let me know. Let me know in the chat, and we'll go from there. All right, let's jump into it. Louis Torres says, good evening to all in the Guru family. I know a couple of people have been calling us the Guru Clan. I don't know. Guru family, clan. You guys got to decide. Figure it out. Let's see. Tech for Fun says, joining from the non-free state of Connecticut. Yes, we are definitely behind the Iron Curtain. Mrs. Guru's in the chat, guys. She says, good evening, everyone. Hopefully she's not been too spicy, because Mrs. Guru woke up and chose violence at like 2:30 in the morning. Poor Mrs. Guru woke up, couldn't go back to sleep, and has been up ever since. So as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go get her settled in, let her relax, take care of the pups, and all that good stuff. Robert Cochran says, good evening. Louis Torres says, bring on the sadness. Yes, I'm pretty sure I just covered a bunch of sad news. Tech for Fun says, did Connecticut ban alcohol too? No, alcohol's still legal. You can drink alcohol. I heard because it causes crashes. Oh, I see where you're going with that. Tech for fun. I see where you're going with that. No, I think the correct analogy would be whatever car the drunk driver was driving, we'd ban that car and sue the crap out of the car manufacturer for building a car that did not prevent the drunk driver from driving drunk. That's the perfect analogy there. Jewett Bubblegum says, I hate Connecticut. That is a sentiment I hear a lot from you guys. You probably hear it from me a lot too. I crap hard on Connecticut. I, however, don't crap as hard on Connecticut as Mrs. Guru does. She really does not like it up here. Tech for Fun says, my wife won't let me move. Sir, I am sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Mrs. Guru is chomping at the bit. She wants out. But we got some things that are keeping us here for the time being. And maybe sometime in the future we can make that move. We shall see. June Bubblegum says, Connecticut, the state where rights go to die. Yes, Connecticut, the unconstitution state. That's what my shirt says. Tech for Fun says, can we get the shirts in person? No, you cannot get the shirts in person. They are on-demand shirts. So you have to click the link for the merch store. There's usually two links. One is for Teespring, which I have it up there because there's a lot of designs. Teespring has been wishy-washy sometimes when it comes to sending stuff out. The other one, which is the one I showed you today at the beginning of the live, is for Bonfire. Bonfire is also on demand, and they have been very good thus far. I ordered a shirt from them, and I got it within a week. So Bonfire seems to be a little better than Teespring. Just saying. Louis Torres. Figuring out how to new carry for a winter and summer carry if Glocks get banned. So that's a big question, Mr. Torres, because we don't even know. Say Glocks do get banned. And they're like, well, if you own a Glock, you can keep a Glock. We're like, cool, we can keep the Glocks we already own. The problem is the way it's worded. We don't know. And they brought this up during the public hearing. We don't even know if we can carry them, because that would be considered transporting, which would be illegal. So unless they change the words, the verbiage of these laws, you're not going to be able to do anything with your Glocks except leave them in the gun safe. Because the way you can interpret it is you can't carry them. You couldn't even bring them to the gun range to use them because, well, that's transporting. You can't sell them. You can't even sell them outside of the state because it doesn't say you can't sell them in the state. It just says the FFL can't sell them, period, whether it's in-state or out-of-state. Plus, they're going to recategorize Glocks or anything with a cruciform trigger bar as a machine gun. That's what the verbiage says. And you can thank every town for that. They're not even elected. They're not even from Connecticut. One of them's from Mass, the other one's from New York, and they both came here and collectively shit on our state, giving the politicians a very, very jacked up law that is designed to just screw us, the law-abiding citizen, over while not doing anything to stop criminal activities being done by criminals. There you go. June Bubblegum says, CZ P10C. Yes, I've heard good things about that. Actually, I have a private lesson coming up, and somebody wants to use a CZ P10C. So, we shall see. That Fast 3002 says, I love my Patriot Wear holsters. Yeah, I don't have any of the Patriot Wear holsters. I've got plenty of other brands. And it was funny because Michelle was like, oh, what's your EDC? I said, well, currently it's a Met 9. And Josh goes, it's a Met 9 LS. I was like, whatever. The slide is the size of a Met 9, regardless of grip. And Michelle just looked at me. She was like, ugh, you've got to be so difficult. Yes, I do. So, but we do have them at Lock and Load for sale, and we use them in our classes. I can't complain. So far, they're from what I've done playing with them in class and all that good stuff, they're really good holsters. I can't wait to get my dirty little mitts on them and run it as an everyday carry holster, and I'll let you guys know. They're, I'd say 9.9 out of 10 chance that they're probably just spectacular holsters, and you should go spend all your money on Patriot Wear, because not only are they local, which is good, but it's quality, and you should support local. You really should. Louis Torres says he has a P10C and F model. Okay, you guys hear me 5x5. They're both great. Viking Queen's in the house. She says, good evening. Viking Queen, I hope you were enjoying your clay. Louis says hi to her. Robert Cochran said, that was a great show. He also says they'll just stop shipping to that state. Someone said Mike is dead. My Mike's not dead. Louis Torres says, how about if someone reloads your serialized brass? I was thinking, what if you just collect a bunch of blank brass and reload it? Then, if you're a reloader, do you have to serialize your own brass now? I don't know. Tech for fun. It's probably to make the process of ammo go up. Keep turning the screw into legal owners. I don't know why they're doing this. I think they just fucking hate you and me and everybody else. See, Justin says, FYI, Argentina doesn't have magazine restrictions. It screams, Argentina. Yeah. Chewing Bubblegum says he's sick of all of it. Tech for fun. Homeschool in Connecticut. Must have litter box regardless if you own a cat. Yeah, well, DFCS will be involved, so you better have your P's and Q's on, all that good stuff. Mrs. Guru says Tennessee is full. Yes, Tennessee is full, guys. Sorry. We closed the door, and you can't go there. But I've heard Nebraska is beautiful this time of year, so go to Nebraska. Norcor says he can't hear anything. Or she can't hear anything. You might have to renew the feed. I've had audio drop on shows that I watch, and I've got to literally get out of it and jump back into it. Everybody says they're hearing you fine, and if you couldn't hear me, and Mrs. Guru couldn't hear me, who's up there, she'd be down here letting me know you guys couldn't hear me. But everything on my board is running clean. It looks good. Viking Queen says I hear him fine. Yep. June Bubblegum says it's always a little low. I don't know. See, I have it set pretty good. I mean, it is -7 dB, which is the norm, -5 to -7. And I definitely push it to the upper limits, high yellow to red on the audio mixer. I literally watch the audio mixer on my screen. So Louis Torres says, I live in a crazy world. I'm Florida now and back in Connecticut in a few months. Bro, just stay in Florida. You've escaped. Don't come back. Not unless you have to for some ungodly reason. Louis Torres says 1,500 plus is training or competition. Yeah, listen. There's plenty of classes I've taken. An 8-hour class for like defensive handgun where minimum is 1,000 rounds. If I did a carbine course, last carbine course I did, I think we needed 1,000 rounds of 5.56 and 1,000 rounds of our pistol. Because we were using both. We were doing transition, we were doing drills with both. It was a fun class. You guys really should take a class this summer. The season of training is ramping up. I know Valkyrie, Black Sheep, and a few others have put their schedules out. I will eventually get them all into the Facebook here. And if you guys are interested, you just have to go to the events page and you'll be able to click on their event and it will take you straight to them, whether it's Patriot Performance, Valkyrie, Black Sheep, etc. You guys really should do it. Louis Torres says 1,000 rounds of 308 shipped to Connecticut. Well, that's expensive. 1,000 rounds of 308. Ouch. Did you discuss what's going on with the CCDL lawsuit? If you are discussing the Grant v. Higgins lawsuit, it went up for cert yesterday, and I haven't heard squat. Yesterday, it was the Bonta case, it was Cook County, it was Nagar v. Lamont, it was Grant v. Higgins, and a few others. I haven't heard anything. All of these happen behind closed doors. We won't know till Monday or Tuesday. And then we'll know if they pushed it off more or if they picked one up. I'm hopeful they pick it up, mainly because of the DC mag ban being declared unconstitutional. It has now created a juxtaposition in the lower courts to where some of the appeals courts say it's legal to do this, and the one in DC just said it's unconstitutional, you can't do that. Now there's a dilemma. The Supreme Court's job is to solve said dilemma. Let's hope they pick one up. Banning permitted open carry shows exactly how much Connecticut cares about criminals. I remember when they told us they were banning open carry and it would prevent criminals from carrying guns. I saw them figure that one out. Told that to today's class and they thought it was hilarious. Yeah. Because we asked them, hey, how many times have you seen someone open carry? And they're like, we've never seen it. They're like, why is it a problem? Why are we banning this? We're like, well, it'll prevent criminals from carrying guns. We're like, what? So stupid. When open carry was a thing in Connecticut, I saw it once in a great while, but not every day. It wasn't like an everyday thing. I open carried mainly because I was heading to work over at the other trail, the other range that shall not be named. And on the way home, if I had to stop to get something, I'd open carry. More than likely, I would try and cover it as not to get the oohs and the ahs from those anti-gun people just trying to go into a store to get what I needed. See, Devlin Avi says, talk about things they were trying in Illinois with the 5-cent tax per round and how New York is getting sued over the gun-free zones. Yeah, I just saw the lawsuit come up about the you can't carry in certain areas and they're getting sued over it. Good for them. Let's see. John says, Guru Gang. I've actually heard that one before. Joan Bubblegum says, we need to keep William Tong from attaining higher office like a governor or senator. You mean like Blumenthal? I don't think Tong wants to run for a higher office. He's in charge of all AGs. He's the president of whatever little AG club there is. Louis Torres wants to take me a math in a Utah class when I get. Jesus, I can't read. I want to take the Massachusetts and the Utah class. What cost and can I use my own firearm? So if you already have a Connecticut permit, then you need to take the multi-state course. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's quick and it's easy because you already have a Connecticut permit. Just letting you know. J. Foreman, the Guru Group. Sounds like some sort of law firm. J. Foreman from Bristol. I was just in Bristol at Wolf's. Let's see. Yay, 6978. Yes, a Corbell giveaway. That'd be cool. For sure. Tech for Fun says, true unbanning the car. Robert Cochran, I want out of this state also. Louis Torres says he wants to wait on the wife to retire and then they can move to Florida in a few more years. All right, we got a super chat. Thank you, Tech for Fun, for your awesome freaking super chat. Thanks for the stream. What are realistic ways that we can get involved to put pressure on politicians for Pro 2A missions? Give you a like on that. Well, one, public testimony goes a long way. Getting involved with the CCDL, as much as I talk shit about them, and I have my differences with them, that is a really good way to get involved. Along with SAF and GOA, any of these groups, they're the ones that have your back. Writing to your politicians, calling their offices. I really don't want to blackpill you on this, but honestly, when it comes to this, like I said earlier, with all the opposition testimony for these particular bills, I don't think they give a shit about you or your damn rights. They're going to push through what they want. Mainly because every town wrote this law for the cruciform trigger bar. Nobody asked for it. Nobody was talking about it. And they gave it to Lamont. And Lamont goes, huh, that's a good idea. Here, General Assembly, pass it. That's it. They're trampling all over. They don't care about us. So, honestly, you want to know? You're not going to like it. Here's the easiest way. Tech for Fun, run for office. Change the system. Get rid of whoever your rep is, become the rep, and push through Pro 2A measures. Even if you just sit on city council, it's something. And I know I've had people in the past in the comment section and chats like, you know what? Todd, we need to get you in office. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because that, guys, I don't have enough bail money. That would be bad. Because I would go scorched earth. I would never, ever be elected to any public office. Ever. It'd be entertaining. But not in a good way. Just saying. Harley Hill says they probably will try to ban or prohibit from future sales on reloading supplies next. Yep, you're giving them ideas. Giving them ideas. Robert Cochran, that's why I reload my 308. Jay Foreman, what do you do if the CCDL suit doesn't get heard or dropped? Although SCOTUS said it will be heard this term or next. So that is just dealing with ours. There's plenty of other cases out there like Bonta, the Cook County one. If they don't pick up Nagar v. Lamont or Grant v. Higgins, but they pick up the Cook County one, or they pick up Bonta, and they rule on those, undoing the AR-15 bans, undoing the magazine bans, the ramifications are nationwide. It doesn't have to be a Connecticut lawsuit. But, that being said, the Connecticut lawsuits, they have some of the best arguments that the Supreme Court has ever seen when it comes to definitively making a ruling in our favor. The arguments are stellar. So whoever wrote that, they did a great job. And if you look at what the state's arguments are in defense of it, They're bullshit. They fall apart quickly. See, Ryan says it's time for Connecticut firearm owners to sue every town. Yeah, I wish. Louis Torres says he has a Florida permit and a Connecticut permit. I've got tons of permits too, sir. So, let's see. Josie A. I don't never know if I'm saying that. If it's Josie, Jose, I like Josie. Could be Jose. I don't know. So whatever happened to your New York City permit? Well, here's the story. I looked it up, and I'm under investigation. So, still, I don't know. I'm gonna have to call them. I'm always afraid to call them because I'm afraid they're gonna be like, "You're at the bottom of the pile now." But I did just renew my Connecticut one, and I will be doing a video on how to renew your permits, etc., etc. So look forward to that. I just got to wait on my permit to come in. I did it online, took screen captures of everything, and they told me 14 days. So we shall see. But it is that time of night on Saturday night. It is 8 o'clock, and it is time for you to go forth and go do weekend things with your family instead of watching my dumbass on the live stream. So go have fun, go relax, go enjoy yourself. Be careful tomorrow. It's supposed to be really crappy out, rainy and all that stuff. I will be teaching a class, having a good old time. So I appreciate all the chats, guys. I appreciate you showing up for this live stream. Go forth, have fun, keep your head on a swivel, keep your powder dry, and I'll see all of you guys in the next video.